Right, so, summary for Castles of Mad King Ludwig. First off, my lovely camera wife did much better on the bonus points than I did. The gap closed up a bit. Yeah, I still came out ahead by a few points there, but not nearly the distinction it was at the end. So, first off, the inevitable comparison to Suburbia. The short version is, I think I actually like Suburbia a little bit better, but the two games are definitely distinct enough from each other that it's worth having both, assuming you want a collection of more than, 20 or 30 or whatever games. In Castles, you get a much quicker, tighter experience. I mean, we haven't looked at the time on the video yet, but I would say that was probably around half an hour or so of gameplay. 30, 35 minutes, something like that. And that's, for a two-player game, reasonably standard in our experience. It's obviously going to play a bit longer with more people, and it really certainly comes into its own more with more people. Now, one of the things that really makes it interesting in comparison to Suburbia is how the prices are set by players who are looking to both drain money from their opponents and gain money themselves in doing so. It adds an extra layer of strategy to things that are just really, really interesting to me, that I really enjoyed. But, as I mentioned, I kind of like Suburbia a little bit better because it feels, more epic to me somehow. You build a much larger, suburb with more interactions going on and more chains and, more of that math that drives a lot of people nuts, but I really enjoy because you can end up with these wonderful, point spikes and such. And anyway, enough about Suburbia. Yes.
Also, something I prefer about Suburbia, there's actually more interaction between...
Definitely, yeah. Castles, the interaction is pretty much limited to trying to drain money out of the other people. Maybe taking a tile they want. But, a lot of people are going to like that. A lot of people are going to see that as a feature, that there isn't really much of a screw you sort of component to this game. It's quite friendly. Also, we enjoy a lot of the aesthetic to it. Though one thing that drives us nuts about this game is just how tiny the components are. I mean, they're minuscule, and the vision impaired are going to have some trouble with these. They're very, very small and can be kind of hard to see, especially when you're glancing around trying to see, what people are going to be looking for. The color coding helps, but it's a bit awkward sometimes. Mm-hmm. The two-player game suffer especially, but even in the full game, suffers from a little bit of, where you can set yourself up for these wonderful strategies and, make no real mistakes, and just unfortunate luck prevents you from ever getting any of the tiles you need. They just never come out. They never see the game. We removed quite a few before setup for the two-player game, and we still have all this left over, so you can see how there's quite a few things that never came out. I would have loved a more expansive dungeon, but that wasn't in the cards, Looking around, there's one right there, and, it was unfortunate, and that kind of luck in a Euro-y sort of game like this, can bother some people. I don't find it to be the end of the world, certainly. The game plays quick and punchy enough that, it's easier to set aside the little things like that. I love this little castle. This is very cool. But beyond the castle, the components just in general felt kind of cheap in this one. They started curving just a little bit, the boards, as soon as we took them out of the box, and just... They're not nearly as warped as a lot of things, but they seem thinner, and, they feel a little on the cheap side. So for around $45, this is definitely a game worth picking up. But beyond that, if prices go up for any reason, you've seen the gameplay. But, all in all, definitely a pass the way things are right now. Again, a better experience with, 3 or 4, but workable with 2, certainly, and enjoyable. So I guess that about sums it up pretty adequately. So thanks for watching, and get off your computer, go play some games.